Don't you want the story twice? Have no fear, the studio say remakes so.
Oh my god.
All right, second try recording. Here we go. This is the second try.
Are you quite certain this time that it's recording?
Almost 100% positive this is on the correct microphone. Not that it's like a great quality microphone, but it is better than my fucking webcam mic. Hello and welcome to Once More with Feeling, a podcast about great original movies and their often not so great remakes. This episode, we are looking at The Lion King, episode
You sound
14.
a lot more polished now that you've already said that.
Yeah, well, I practiced it
Off
once
mic,
before.
yeah.
And now
Maybe we should rehearse. We should just spend 3 hours rehearsing. We'll just like intentionally not turn the mic on, do the whole thing, and then just like sort of like glumly do the episode over again.
I think it was Taika Waititi who will write a whole first draft of a movie and then just like throw it out and rewrite the movie again. And he's like, if I remembered to put it in, it's probably good enough.
Damn.
Yeah.
He lives life on the edge. That's like, that make me so anxious.
Yeah. I'm Gus Schiff. I'm a screenwriter, a comedian, a director, producer, job applier.
Are you saying it like that?
Because it's funny. Everybody listening right now is just lying on the floor, cackling. I've caused 3 traffic accidents with that joke.
And I'm Mariana. I'm a film critic, media scholar, anthropologist, other academic pursuits that Gus just made fun of me for.
Yes,
for not sticking to one of. Oh, you just reminded me. You have a box to open.
I do have a box open. Do you want to do it now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So you sent me... It was like in, what, October? November?
No,
that you asked
later
me
than
for
that,
my
for sure.
address?
Yeah, something like that.
And it got here.
I did my Christmas shopping correctly this year. And wait until December 23rd.
It got here, the boxes, plural boxes, I believe, right before I left for Montana. And you were like, well, you have to open it on stream. And I was like, I don't have space in my suitcase. So we wait. It's been sitting here for like 3 or 4 weeks.
Uh-huh.
I'm now...
Which is fine.
Opening it.
It's completely fine. We're still within the the holiday window.
Rip.
I've still got my Christmas tree up.
Oh my gosh. So the first box is an XLR male to female microphone cable from Amazon Basics. Really sprang in for quality there. Thank you so much. The second box is a official licensed product licensed by Gator Cases SH-Desktop 1 desktop mic stand. That's cool. And then the giant box is... I don't know if you can hear those knife sounds, but... What's it called? DSLR? What is it? ASMR.
DSLR.
Oh. A podcast microphone? An MV7X podcast microphone for podcasters and musicians? From Shure. Are you just sick of my bad mic quality?
Yes, yeah. I'm so glad you picked that. I'm so over editing your janky ass audio and spending fucking half an hour trying to get our audio tracks to match. Now they will. You're welcome.
You know what's great? I mean, not on this episode, but you know what's great? You can also just expense this to the podcast.
I know.
You can steal some of that.
Well, you think I did that out of the goodness of my heart?
Steal some of that meager money that we put away and deprive me of my share. That's awesome. Thank you. I will. I'll set this up, and then what's next? Mulan.
Yeah.
And then Mulan, oh, get ready for some slightly better audio quality on my end.
Crisp, clear, beautiful
Oh, yeah.
audio.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, thank you for asking me to do this podcast. I was so reluctant at first, but it's been so
I
fun.
literally, can I tell you something? Just behind the scenes before we start talking about The Lion King. The first time I had this idea for the podcast, I watched Roadhouse and then I watched Roadhouse. And I was like,
that's going to be a good episode.
I was like, there's so much to talk about here. Who's my one friend who has a slightly built-in audience and likes movies, talking about movies as much as I do? And then it took a year and a half for you to say yes.
And that was the appropriate response, I have to say, because this is so much fun, but oh my God, it's so much work.
Yeah.
It's fun work, but this is the other reason I have too many jobs, is because all the things that I want to do and all the things that people ask me to do sound fucking cool as shit.
Yeah.
Let's fucking do a podcast. Not realizing that it's going to be an extra 10 hours of work a week.
Yeah, but it's fun hour. 6 of those hours are just watching movies.
Yeah. It's so much fun.
Plus, now we're in the people on YouTube are like, wow, I can't believe more people aren't listening phase. So
hell yeah, that's a good intro YouTube
phase.
Milestone.
Yeah, that's a good early phase. Let's talk about 1994 when The Lion King came out. Wow, I'm so good at segues.
1994. I am 1 year old.
Yeah, 1994 when The Lion King comes out. I am negative 6 years old, 6 months old, negative 6 months old. So 1994 in general, it's gonna I'm gonna say that it was a pretty good year, and then I'm gonna say some things that make you go what are you talking about? So 1994, all things considered, pretty solid year. The U.S. isn't involved in a major war, which is nice. There are some things that are not great, like the Rwandan genocide happens in 1994. The Chechenian Russia war breaks out in 1994. There's the Northridge earthquake in February of 1994. I am born 9 months later. Do the math on that one. I was at earthquake, baby, is what I'm saying. My parents were very excited that they were not dead. But, there's also good things. Nelson Mandela's elected president of South Africa. The Sony PlayStation is released, the first one. Excuse me. There's the Kremlin Accords, which ends the pre-targeting of nukes between the US and Russia. And then later there's a different accord that ends that between China and Russia. So the world, despite the bad things, is kind of calming down a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's kind of chilling out. I think there's a great sense of optimism that you can change things, right? Apartheid is over. The Rwanda genocide happens and then it stops. The people are trying to figure out the Balkan situation. Stuff's going on.
Yeah, there's a great sense of optimism for 5 years before everything goes to shit again.
Yeah. Thanks, Bush. Plus, I was born, which maybe the greatest thing that's ever happened in the history of mankind. Let me tell you about this movie, The Lion King, that we just watched. So here's a quick synopsis. Simba, who is the lion prince of the Pride Lands, is born and presented to the animal kingdom. He really wants to be king, but he's way too eager. Scar, who's Simba's uncle, plots to take over the throne with the creepy hyenas. Scar tricks Simba into almost dying in a wildebeest chase, stampede, that's what it's called, forcing Mufasa, who's Simba's dad and the king, to risk his life rescuing his son, which Mufasa does, but then Scar kills him so that Scar can be king. Young Simba flees the Pride Lands, chased by hyenas, and is about to die in the desert when he meets Timon and Pumbaa, who introduce him to the concept of Hakuna Matata, the idea that nothing matters and everything is easy breezy. It means no worries for the rest of your days. Years go by, adult Simba lives in a bug-filled paradise with his pals, but Scar and the hyenas have totally destroyed the Pride Lands. And one day in the middle of this paradise, Pumbaa is attacked by a lion. Oh my God, Simba fights off the lion. But the lion turns out to be Nala, who's Simba's friend from childhood. Nala wants him to come back, but Simba doesn't want to come back. So the baboon, no, not the baboon.
Yeah.
He's not a baboon. It was in the live action.
He's a mandrill.
Yeah.
But he has a tail, which is odd because mandrills don't have tails.
Well,
it's a better silhouette.
The mandrill advisor Rafiki gives Simba a pep talk, and also Simba looks into the stars and sees his dead father, and they give him a pep talk, and he's like, I have to go back and I have to face Scar. So he returns to Pride Rock with Nala and with Timon and Pumbaa, and they fight Scar and the hyenas, and Scar loses and he gets eaten. And then Simba and Nala have a kid of their own. It's the circle of life, etc. The end. It's basically like Hamlet, but Guildenstern and Rosencrantz don't get killed.
Mm-hmm. And it's a happy ending. It's not a tragedy.
It's Hamlet, but it's a comedy.
Which is pretty like American. You know?
Yeah.
What if we took this like terrible story about how indecision ruins your life and the lives of everybody around you and just turn it into...
May I interject and say that Hamlet is actually an excellent story?
Hamlet is a great story. I said nothing about
terrible.
Hamlet being a bad story.
You said it's a terrible story.
Oh my God. Not qualitatively terrible.
We don't accept synonyms in this podcast.
It is a tragedy.
Yeah. So this was...
Bad things happen in it.
This movie is Disney's second ever animated original story.
Oh.
Do you know what the first one was?
No.
The first one was the Aristocats.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm.
There's it's a little disputed, the original idea, because it did not have to do with a fairy tale. Unfortunately, I cannot say this episode that it has been in development since the 1930s. This idea springs up as Disney is sort of gearing up for these glasses are making me nauseous. As Disney is
it's the opposite of what they're supposed to do.
I know. If I move my head around too much, they're still very new, so I get sick.
Yeah, my glasses do that too.
So this idea springs up as Disney is gearing up for the Renaissance. The sort of major players of the Renaissance are in place: Michael Eisner, Jeffrey Katzenberg, etc. And it's really a question of like who brings the idea first. We don't know. It's one of the executives, but we do know that by 1988, it was actively being worked on, and it was called King of the Kalahar. This story went through a lot of rewrites. Kalahar? That's what it said. I don't know how to pronounce it. It might be Kalahari. It's possible I spelled it wrong in my notes. Whatever. King, you know what? Let me just look it up real quick. Yeah, sorry. King of the Kalahari. I spelled it wrong in my notes. That's embarrassing. The story went through...
Did you switch the R and the I at the end of the word?
Yeah. This story went through a lot of rewrites. Like a bunch of Disney's regular writers got their hands on it at some point. At one point, it was about a war between a baboon clan and a lion clan. At one point, the main villain was a jackal named Ndango. Eventually, this executive named Charlie Fink, who was the Disney Animation Vice President for Creative Affairs at the time, brings in his friend J.T. Allen, who writes the first version that's called The Lion King. This is where we get the character of Simba, and honestly, I don't think much else. Then Linda Wolverton, whose fingers were all over these early Disney Renaissance stuff.
Our good friend Linda Wolverton.
The
legendary Linda Wolverton.
The legendary Linda Wolverton. She shows up while still working on Beauty and the Beast. Her drafts are called King of the Beasts and then King of the Jungle. You know, every draft that's going on is getting closer to what we eventually find. It goes through a few different directors who are also working on the story. In 1991, the creative team visited Hell's Gate National Park in Kenya to study animals and get inspiration for the idea. One of the original directors, George Scribner, leaves the project when they decide to make it a musical. I think the original idea, there was a quote I saw that was like National Geographic, but it's animated. Obviously,
that doesn't sound very good.
Did not turn out that way. A Disney producer named Don Han. I don't want to say Don Han. That can't be right. He joins. This is a guy who has produced a lot of Disney movies or will produce a lot of Disney movies in the 90s and early 2000s. And he asks for like one last big rewrite. And this is where Scar and Mufasa become brothers. This is where it becomes called The Lion King. If you remember, I think it was the last episode, the Aladdin episode, I gave a couple quotes from this Jeffrey Katzenberg interview. At that point, when Aladdin came out, it was still called King of the Jungle. So this is after Aladdin comes out in 1992. Anyway, they pitched this new story to the Disney leaders, Katzenberg and Eisner, and it's actually the executives who suggest the Hamlet similarity. I was very surprised finding this in the research, that the Hamlet comparison inspiration came so late in development. Mm-hmm. But what can you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like a sort of I don't know, a normal story that they then realized, oh, Shakespeare did this 400 years ago.
Yeah.
We can just like...
That is pretty common.
Yeah.
Oh, these
absolutely.
two people are in love, but their families don't want them to be. Sorry,
yeah,
guys.
exactly.
It's Romeo and Juliet. I don't know what to tell you. This one guy is pursuing a girl, but she doesn't want him to. Taming of the Shrew.
Mm-hmm.
Already done. So speaking of the writing, Alan Menken, who we've talked about a lot, he did compose. He composed the other 3 Renaissance movies that we've covered: Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin. He was actually not available for this project, so they got his Aladdin collaborator, Tim Rice, to write the book, do the lyrics and stuff. They still needed someone to compose the music, so off of Tim's suggestion, they of course reached out to ABBA, who were not available. So they went with Elton John.
Of all the possibilities I thought that were on the table.
ABBA was doing a different musical. I think they were doing like a Swedish or German musical or something. So they weren't available. So they offered it to Elton John instead, who said, fuck yeah. And then Hans Zimmer, I have to imagine Elton John helped with lyrics too, but Hans Zimmer did the score, and I think it's honestly like the only Hans Zimmer only Hans Zimmer score that I like.
Really?
Unless he also did Pirates of the Caribbean.
He didn't. I think he did like the second and third ones.
Yeah.
But based off like,
the first one.
Based off the first.
The thing I've realized with scores, because I watched partly on a plane a movie called Days of Thunder.
The most Tom Cruise movie ever made.
Extremely Tom Cruise movie. That is also scored by Hans Zimmer, and it's like from the 80s. And I think watching it, I was like, oh, I realize why I don't like Hans Zimmer. He's too enthusiastic about advancements in musical technology. Too many synths, too many things. Like all the scores that he's done for Christopher Nolan, it's just too much. Like the Inception. It's fine.
I like the Inception score. I don't like Inception as a movie.
Here's the thing with the Gladiator score.
Yeah.
Is my girlfriend watched that movie and fucking fell in love with it. My wonderful girlfriend fell in love with that movie. And so for like a month and a half, whenever we were driving and she plugged her phone in, it would just be like, and I'd like, I couldn't handle it.
I think what happened, he did Prince of Egypt. You know, like Prince of
I
Egypt.
remember liking Prince of Egypt, but I think like the reason like I really like Lion King and the reason I think I remember liking Prince of Egypt is because he used like musical styles of like the areas that he was representing. So it's a lot more like not choir, but it's a lot more like human.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot more like actual instruments and not computers, and it's always more interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
As a score.
Okay. Here's what happened. I knew it was something weird with Curse of the Black Pearl. That Jerry Bruckheimer had hired Alan Silvestri to do a score for Pirates of the Caribbean. He did the whole thing, and then Bruckheimer decided he didn't like it, so he hired Hans Zimmer. But Hans Zimmer was too busy on The Last Samurai, so basically I like
The Last Samurai too. I like Hans Zimmer scores when he doesn't use any technology.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's a good walk back.
Yeah, I think he's a good composer who uses too many synthesizers.
So basically, Hans Zimmer, Klaus Badelt is not Hans Zimmer's like assistant or underling in any way. I don't think, but like it seems like a lot of what is going on in Pirates of the Caribbean is credited to Hans Zimmer when it's just colloquially, not actually.
Like the guy who did Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes,
which
precisely,
incidentally took The Lion King's original release date in 1993 because the movie had undergone too many rewrites and was not ready.
What an incredible segue.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
An actually good segue.
Thank you. Here's another fun fact about the development of The Lion King. It was animated. So obviously by the time it starts getting animated in like when the story is ready in like 92 or 93, Disney Renaissance is in full swing. They've had three.
Excuse me. Sorry. 1 second.
That's okay.
These remakes make me want to drink, so that's what I'm doing. But I'm famously bad at drinking. So,
are you drunk?
No.
Okay, good, because you just drove to get hamburgers for dinner. That'd be very irresponsible of you, living in Texas and drunk driving.
No, this is my first glass of wine.
Okay. Oh, you're currently
and probably
drinking.
My last. Yes.
Okay. Here's another fun fact about the development of The Lion King. So by the time it was being animated in 1992 or 1993 or whenever it started, Disney Renaissance was in full swing. They had massive success with The Little Mermaid, with Beauty and the Beast. Aladdin, I think, had just come out or was coming out. I think The Rescuers Down Under also did really well, although obviously there's no live action The Rescuers Down Under, so we haven't covered that one yet.
Hope they never touch that gem.
I hope so.
It'd be a sin.
So Disney has its pick of the animator litter. They have a ton of people working for them. People really want to work for them. They're like the hit. They're the animation company right now. Lion King was being animated at the same time as Pocahontas. And the vibe at the studio was that Pocahontas was the better movie.
Right.
I think Lion King, when they started animating, or at least when they started designing characters, was still undergoing rewrites. And so the animators would read the scripts and be like, no one's going to watch this fucking movie. No one's going to do this. So all of the veteran animators who got to choose their assignment were choosing Pocahontas. Which you can see there's a lot of like Pocahontas is a gorgeous movie.
It's beautiful.
It's so
beautiful.
Nice. Even though the songs are all bad, it's a gorgeous.
I like Colors of the Wind.
It's a gorgeous movie. I'm sure if I watched it again, I would really, really like it.
Yeah, I got to watch it again too. I mean, it's like it's not a good story.
Last time, I think it. Okay, here's the thing. I think it is a good story. I think it's just grossly inaccurate.
Okay,
and like not a great representation of actual relations of the time.
Okay,
but I think the story is nice. It's Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, no, I mean it's well paced. It's written fine. Whatever. It's just the sort of surrounding cultural context of Pocahontas is pretty noxious.
Anyway, the last time I watched Pocahontas, I was in my ew girls are gross phase when I was like 9. So just by default didn't like that movie very much.
Yeah, you weren't impressed by her skimpy outfit.
They didn't have, number one, I was way too young to have sexual thoughts, and number two, she did not have a hilarious animal sidekick like Mushu.
She has two.
Yeah, but they don't talk. So
Miko is adorable and hilarious. When I was a kid, I had one of
raccoon?
Yeah. One of the little like, disc computer games that I used to play all the time was Pocahontas themed, and it had so many little fun games.
I had a Lion King one of those.
Hell yeah.
So Pocahontas was the place to be. So a lot of the lead animators, like the supervising animators, because each character is animated by a team, right? A lot of those leaders were on their first supervisory role. So the result is a lot of like newer people. Not a ton of veterans worked on this movie. And Disney did like the classic thing, because they still wanted it to look good, which is like they brought, number one, they took trips to zoos, and number two, they brought live like lions and other animals into the studio for the animators to look at and draw images of, which is really cool.
It is, and they look so good.
They look fantastic.
Everything looks so good. It's my favorite. Like, it's like part of the artistry of these movies, these talking animal movies, is like, how do you get the vibe of this animal and also stylize it? And like, characterize it and let the audience know what kind of character this is, just based on how it moves and how it looks. And it's, Scar is different from Mufasa, and I love it.
Isn't it wild when animal characters used to look different from each other?
That's crazy. Crazy idea.
So as progress started on this movie, the vibe turned around, and they were like, oh, this is going to be really, really good. Disney realized how special the movie was. So special, in fact, that the in-theater trailer for this movie was just the circle of life.
What an incredible trailer.
My God.
I forget which episode it was we talked about how shitty trailers are now. I think it was Pete's Dragon. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But like,
it might have been the one we recorded very recently.
But like, that's what a trailer should be.
Yeah.
And that also is what the trailer for the new one, the teaser trailer they released first, was just Circle of Life.
Yeah.
Which was part of what we'll talk about in a minute, but people were like, is this going to just be a shot for shot
remake?
Recreation?
There was a movie somewhat recently that did that same thing of just releasing the first like 5-ish minutes as a trailer to the movie. And it was Tenet, of all things. I'm not a huge Christopher Nolan fan. I think he's Michael Bay for smart people.
I agree.
And it's totally fine if you like his movies, by the way. No judgment.
I don't know about smart people. He's Michael Bay for people who want to be smart.
No, I think he's Michael Bay. There are people whose intelligence I really respect who like love Chris Nolan.
Me too. I think Chris Nolan is a perfectly adequate director. It's just that you cannot deny that there's a certain type of like Reddit film bro who thinks that, saying that you're into Christopher Nolan means like makes you smart.
As opposed to me, who says I'm into Paul Thomas Anderson, which does make me smart.
Exactly. So glad you understand me.
I remember I went to go see Birds of Prey in theaters, and the movie it was the first bit of Tenet in the Opera House. And I was like, oh my God, this is so much better than I thought it would be. I can't believe Birds of Prey is this good. And then I realized a couple minutes in that it was not Birds of Prey. And I was like, what movie is this? This looks great. And then it was Tenet. And I was like, oh my God, I guess I have to see Tenet. Didn't live up to that first bit, but I think
poor John David Washington. He cannot pick a winning project to save his life.
I don't think he is poor. I think he's doing okay.
You're right. I think he's probably fine.
I think that was such a genius move by Disney. Like that opening until the credit smash is so gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is really like, it's something they teach you about storytelling. Like those first couple of minutes should make you want to watch the rest of the movie. And there are like some of my favorite ever movies absolutely do that. Raiders of the Lost Ark has its own little mini adventure. The Lion King has this gorgeous sequence up front. Do more of that in trailers. Release the first 3 minutes.
Yeah. Make your movie look enticing. Don't just tell people what the plot is about.
Not the best part of my short is the first scene. After that, it just kind of goes downhill because I was still learning how to direct dialogue.
Guys.
But like the first,
you're not supposed to say that.
The whole thing is at least quite solid. The first scene is the best scene. Technically, it's scene 3, but
you need a
it's
manager.
The best scene. I have a manager.
Oh my god, you need a better manager.
What I need is a publicist.
Yeah.
What was I talking about? Oh, so the original budget of The Lion King. The budget of the original Lion King was about $45 million, and it was incredibly successful. It was released in June of 1994, and it made roughly $764 million in its initial run. That's and I want to start doing this after the discussion we had. I think it was Beauty and the Beast. It might have been Little Mermaid. It's 17 times the original budget. Is how much it made back. It was the second highest grossing movie of all time, behind Jurassic Park, which came out a year before. It was the highest grossing animated movie of all time until Finding Nemo, which was like 2003. It was Disney's highest grossing movie for a while. Maybe also until Finding Nemo. It spawned 2 direct-to-video sequels, The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, I think it's called, which I've seen like one time and I don't remember very well.
I watched the shit out of that movie. It's okay.
And then the Lion... and also The Lion King 1.5, which is probably the best direct-to-video movie of all time.
It's pretty fun.
It's so good. I watched the shit out of that one. I think that movie, Lion King 1.5 is what made me an absurdist. It is great absurdist comedy. It's so good. It also produced, I think, my favorite Kingdom Hearts 2 level. It produced a TV show that I watched all the time on Disney Channel, and a bunch of really cute like merchandise. Just like really, it did its job very, very well. Critics loved it too. Here's Jeremy Gerard's opening paragraph for a Variety review. Set off by some of the richest imagery the studio's animators have produced and held together by a timeless coming-of-age tale, The Lion King marks a dazzling and unexpectedly daring addition to the Disney canon. There's little doubt that this film, abetted by a marvelous cast of star voices and songs by Elton John and Tim Rice, tending towards huge, sonorous choral numbers, will draw huge, sonorous crowds this summer and beyond.
It is kind of, what was the word you used? Startling?
Unexpected, dazzling?
Like, unexpected maybe is the one that, but it is kind of unexpected. It's sort of, it takes itself really seriously.
Yeah.
Which is cool, you know?
Yeah.
It feels kind of prestige, and like the humor, I guess, is so like whatever, it's still a kids movie, but like all the backgrounds, the score, they have a Fiddler on the Roof callback, like sunrise, sunset.
When do they do that?
In the jungle with Timon and Pumbaa, I'm pretty sure.
No, they do In the Jungle, the Quiet Jungle, the Lion. Whatever. Yeah, I loved it. Let me find some other critics. I ran out of time to find critics. I had to watch Mufasa for our little patron exclusive discussion after this episode.
Gus, you want to know what?
What?
Lion King 1.5 is where they do the Fiddler in the Roof reference. What a good movie.
You fool. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times said, basically what we have here is a drama with comedy occasionally lifting the mood. The result is a surprising seriousness. This isn't the mindless romp with cute animals that the ads might lead you to expect. Although the movie may be frightening and depressing to the very young, I think it's positive that The Lion King deals with real issues. By processing life's realities and stories, children can prepare themselves for more difficult lessons later on. The saga of Simba, which in its deeply buried origins owes something to Greek tragedy and certainly to Hamlet, is a learning experience as well as entertainment. That was not as enthusiastic as I thought it'd be. He only gave it 3.5 stars, which I think is criminally low for this movie.
That's serious praise for Roger Ebert.
Yeah, but it's too low. This is a 4 out of 4 movie. This is a movie that should have 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It should have at least an 80 on Metacritic. Metacritic, The Lion King. Oh, it has an 88.
Okay, here you go.
It should have at least a 90 on Metacritic.
Why do you like this movie so much?
I don't know. I love it so much. You know what it is? I think it's like, I really love like all the Disney Renaissance movies. If Disney didn't like whore itself out so much, you know, as I became an adult, I would absolutely be like a Disney adult.
I probably would too.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of like what you talked about and what some of these reviews talked about of like, I think of the Disney Renaissance movies, it's the one that, except for maybe Pocahontas, it's the one that takes itself like most seriously. You know, it has like a really devastating shot of Simba like crawling into his dead dad's arm. You know, it's like,
I mean, I not that I think that's wrong. I don't think it's wrong at all, but that's how I feel about Beauty and the Beast. That's like similar. I think Beauty and the Beast is a perfect movie and similarly takes itself really seriously and is really pretty dark and pretty, you know.
No, I think so too, but like, you know, it's like in Lion King, the comic relief characters like don't even show up until like the middle of the movie.
I mean, the hyenas are kind of comic relief characters.
Yeah, kind of. But it's like,
and they're awesome. And
they're great. They're so good. It's the first movie I remember seeing that like treated me really seriously, like as a viewer. You know, it didn't like when Mufasa died, it's like you see his body. They don't do that in the other movies as much, I don't think. You know, they set up the parent before killing them. That's pretty devastating. And it's just like, and then it's just, there's just.
Does it feel like, less of a fantasy to you?
I think maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that, but I think that's a really good point. You know, it's very grounded. There's no magic in this one, in the original, and there's something like I don't know if this carries over to animation. Like one of the reasons I really like animation is like the characters' faces are very obvious, and I'm pretty autistic. I'm slightly autistic, so
you're pretty autistic.
I'm not. Well, like I don't want to say that because like I struggle with like that stuff, but you know, whatever. Yeah. I'm autistic enough that I'm really bad at facial expressions, and so these animated movies make it easier. But like animals have always made so much sense to me because they do not. There's no socialized hiding of how they feel. So like
I think that's like to this movie's great strength. That is another thing that the remakes sort of fuck up. That like when you make everybody an animal, you are just sort of imbuing them with a preconceived characteristic, like, you know, personality. I was going to save this for my recommendation at the end of the episode, but I've been rereading his Dark Materials and the Book of Dust.
Great movie, great book.
Yeah, incredible. So good. And like those books exist in a really weird area between like YA and adult novels. And like really the only thing that's making them that I think is like sort of categorizing them as YA is that the protagonist is a young girl and the demons, you know, are like incredibly fantastical and just like an incredible sort of shortcut to like a lot of the core themes of that story being the sort of impulse of the human spirit and what a personality is. And for listeners who have not read these books, like it's an alternate universe where everybody's soul lives outside of their body as like an animal spirit. And when you're a child, they like change shapes all the time and whatever, and then like when you become an adult, it settles into you. Basically, it's like picks a final form, and it's just that animal forever and ever. And like
mine would be a dog.
A dog? What kind of dog?
Oh gosh, that's tough.
I think like a corgi.
For me,
yeah.
I don't. Maybe a corgi with like really sharp teeth. I think it would be like a bigger terrier. Like a family dog that also bites people it doesn't know very well. And like bites them hard. It's not a friendly nip.
Yeah. Mine's a crow. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. That's a good one.
But it's like the themes of somebody's life, like the representation of what somebody is gonna be in a story is just like pre-packaged if you make them into an animal, because that's how humans think of animals, you know. That's like the relationship between humans and animals is like just sort of inherently folkloric. Like these aren't just animals, they represent something. They reflect something about the human spirit, because this is something that these are like patterns we notice in them. And so like one of the things that I think that's one of the things that the remakes really, really fail to recognize. Like we'll get to it especially with Mufasa, but like this is a story not so much about monarchy as it is about responsibility, you know, that like if you're in a position of power, you need to be responsible with it. You need to acknowledge your own responsibility in whatever situation you have to be in, and recognize the kind of care that is, you know, incumbent upon you, whether or not you have the power to dominate everything, which is what, you know, Scar and the hyenas are doing. And that's so cool. And that's like something that is, it's like something that is kind of only accessible through fiction, and especially this sort of like fantastical fiction.
Yeah.
You know? It's great.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Yeah, I think I mentioned it. My favorite Disney movie, besides Iron Man, of course. Yeah. What else?
Also a Jon Favreau project, or was that Iron Man 2?
No, he did Iron Man 1 back when he was good at directing.
Yeah.
Hire me.
Watched Elf recently. What a
Elf.
good movie.
Oh, I love Elf.
Yeah. Well, I said we love it. I love it. I dragged him to that movie.
I really need to watch Swingers. I've heard good things.
Yeah, I do too.
Anything else? Nonstop praise for the original.
What's your favorite song?
My favorite song? That's tough, dude. Like, obviously, I want to say I Just Can't Wait to Be King. But Circle of Life.
Yeah.
Just like the way it starts off. Like, I think if it's just the song, probably I Just Can't Wait to Be King. If we're including the animation that goes with it, I think Circle of Life. Because it's just like a lot of Disney animation is like fun and it's very pretty. But to me, like that circle of life sequence is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's such a like sophisticated cold open, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so striking. It's my dad's ringtone. Mine's Be Prepared, but
That makes sense.
Circle of Life is a close second. I love a villain song.
Yeah.
You know? And it's a good villain song.
Yeah, it's a really good villain song.
What's your favorite part?
My favorite part of this movie, I really like the Timon and Pumbaa intro.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and not just like because of the intro, but I think, this movie deals with some very heavy moments, and they do a very, very good job of like balancing that. Like you're never in the funny place for too long because it'll cut back to Pride Rock being destroyed or whatever.
Mm.
And so I think like, having Simba like dying and then these two goofballs come out of the haze and like it's just really fun. And it's like, oh, things will be okay. And I think it's really well done. And
yeah, the tone smithing here is like
it's
really
crazy
precise.
good.
Yeah.
And then of course, Timon is my favorite character. I love Nathan Lane in almost everything he's ever done.
Do you have a Timon impression?
No.
Okay.
By which I mean I will try it once we finish recording.
I like every single thing Ed does. Ed the hyena.
This is such a great snapshot of like our personality. I love like the theater kid who sings whenever he can. And you like...
I like the absurdist, stupid idiot. Yeah.
The cackling evil hyena.
I think that the choice to make the hyenas funny is really good.
Yeah.
And like intuitive, because like, yeah, they're very scary, but yeah, they laugh all the time. And so, I think that the way they wrote that into all the hyenas characters is like works so well. Like it's it would not be quite enough, I don't think, for Timon and Pumbaa to be the only comic relief. And I think it's really great that like 90% of the antagonistic force is also just goofy as fuck,
Yeah, but still like kind of in a spooky.
Oh, yeah, super spooky.
Like threateningly comic.
Definitely,
in a way that that a lot of movies totally fucking miss the hyenas.
The hyenas think everything is funny, including awful stuff, and that's like a great villain character trait.
Yeah. Anything else for the live action? I mean, for the animated, for the good one.
I don't want to stop talking about the good one.
I know.
I want to keep talking about 1994 Lion King. I don't want to talk about.
We're almost 50 minutes in.
Okay, let's talk about the new one. I need to go get Russ from outside because somebody's.
While you get your dog, I will thank our wonderful patrons. This episode is brought to you, listeners, by our incredible, generous, amazing patrons. Patrons such as VA, Masochism for the Asexual, Miguel Vela Garnett, Silly Me, Hypervisceration, Jerry Danton, Aurora Rogers, Patrick Powers, David Monkman, Just Chip, Isaiah Evans, OK Biddy, Dr. Foes, whatever. Arrestes, Andrew Osborne, Sheila Kelly, that's my mom, Spooky Teeths, Deborah Stanley, William Bentley, Janelle Rose, A Long Way Home, Ryder, Seamus Britag, The Wizard Sober, Mark Wampler, Seatone, Wellen Inspector, Stash, Fading into Obscurity, The Antithesis, Wells Harrell, Forrest Cochran, Ted the Dead, Ryan Faber, Andrew Ray, Samoa, Gun Parade, Colleen Burns, Chimerathon, Charlotte Detweiler, James Trendle, Sky Kaliine, Christine H., Chloe, Dana Lloyd, Donnie, Aaron Summers, and Thomas McFarlane. Thank you so much, everybody on that list. If you're enjoying the podcast and you would like to support monetarily, you can head over to patreon.com and give us several dollars a month and get such wonderful things as access to our Discord, where we have really fun conversations. We just added a pets channel. Everybody's pets are so cute. You can get other things that we'll figure out as we grow. If you don't want to give us money, totally fine. Hit the little like button or the rating button. Tell your friends, etc. All those other things. Subscribe or whatever. You good?
Yeah, perfect timing.
I learned I'm not great at vamping when I'm trying to like pitch people to somehow support the podcast monetarily or otherwise.
More of a double act kind of guy.
Yeah. I've done a lot of improv. I have done very little stand up. I'm so much more comfortable going on stage with no script and a teammate than I am going on stage with like the things I'm going to say.
Yeah, that sounds horrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about the new Lion King. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry we have to do this. So The Lion King came out in 2019 after being announced in 2016, I believe. I think that's what I wrote down here. As The Jungle Book is nearing completion, Jon Favreau starts lobbying for the director job on The Lion King because it's like, it's a known fact that like they're gonna do Lion King eventually, especially after Jungle Book is such a super success and makes a fucking $1 billion. And so like Jon Favreau is the obvious choice to do that. Jungle Book made a fuck ton of money. And so he was successful in getting that job. I can't imagine it was, very difficult for him to do. And
Jon Favreau has made Disney, I think, more money than James Cameron has made Disney.
An unbelievable amount of money Jon Favreau has made Disney.
And he's not a dick about it.
No, he's not a dick. He seems like a perfectly stand-up guy. I wish his movies were better.
Perfectly cromulent dude.
Yeah. This is a weird movie, man. Like the immediate problem that people noticed when this was announced is, how can this possibly be live action? Are you going to have real lions on set? What are you going to do? And no, of course not. Of all the live action remakes, this is certainly the least live action. Like to an absurd degree. Like no filming at all happened here. Like there were no sets.
Didn't they kind of like animate the scene and then have like VR, AR cameras? They uploaded like shots of the Serengeti into a game engine. Which one? Into probably Unreal.
Unity.
Yeah.
And then they had their cinematographers put on VR headsets and like shoot the scenes as if they were actually on location. It's like pretty interesting, and I think like another piece of evidence in our working theory that I introduced and you generously hopped on board with, that Avatar kind of ruined movie making in the same way that Lord of the Rings kind of ruined movie making. Sorry, give me 1 second. Nobody's here. I don't know what they're barking at.
Oh, weird.
I think Russ is just mad because I put him in his crate.
You were saying the theory, that you proposed that I hopped on board for.
Yeah, I said that it was generous of you, but really it's generous of me
for proposing it in the first place.
Yes, exactly. So like similarly with Avatar, like Avatar has no sets. They didn't take cameras anywhere. Like they did that mocap thing, but that's it. There's like nothing about Avatar is real at all. And so that's basically the approach they did here. Like, what if we made a movie with nothing? Was the strategy.
And it cost $200 million.
Cost $250 million. And
it cost, not accounting for inflation, 5 times as much
as the original
movie.
Christ.
You know what? $45 million in 1994 money worth in 2017. So, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis, $45 million in 1999 is worth $75 million in 2017.
Okay.
Which means that accounting for inflation, the new Lion King 150 was more than 3 times as expensive as the original Lion King.
For what is essentially just animation, but worse. Because it's trying to mimic, photorealism without any like particular artistic input from any of the animators. It's supposed to fool you into thinking you're there.
There's a couple massive problems that were present in the Jungle Book that really, really mar this movie, which is like, number one, animals are not very expressive.
Cats in particular are some of the least expressive mammals on the planet.
Yeah. Dogs are crazy expressive because they evolved alongside humans. All other animals have like 3 expressions. They have "don't eat me," they have "I'm gonna kill you," and they have "what is that?" That's kind of it. And so like, especially like, it's you can fake it a little bit with mammals because they got all those face muscles or that you can pretend they have. But like Zazu looked really bad.
I think,
and not even looked bad, but just like couldn't. How do you express?
I think they actually did an okay job with Zazu. Not because Zazu has such an expressive face, but because at least birds have expressive bodies, Yeah. And so they can like move their head around and like they can emote with their wings. So like I don't know if you've ever seen like a video of a cockatoo playing. They're incredibly expressive.
But they got the thing.
Yeah,
they got the
sure.
stuff. It's just a hornbill.
Sure. Well, I mean, most birds can like raise or lower their feathers, and you can emote with a bird.
Every animal looked worse than they did in the live action. Like in the live action, they're more distinct.
Not only do they look worse, but like they look worse than the real animal as a consequence.
Yeah. And also like here's the reality about reality is like every animal on Earth except for like male birds exists to not be seen very well. And so like you just get, if you keep to realistic colors, shit's ugly. Yeah. You can't see it super well.
And lions are designed to blend in with dead grass.
Yeah.
There's tan.
Like, and to take a character like Scar, who in the original animated movie is so expressive and is so like, he's so expressive because Jeremy Irons, who voices Scar in the original, he like does all those gestures, like that's him, and they put it on the lion. And you just can't have that face and you can't have those body movements if you're constraining yourself to like reality. And so it's like, what's the difference between like Mufasa and Scar? In the animated movie, like Scar looks evil and sneaky and scary. And in the live action movie, Scar looks like he has the flu.
Yeah, he looks like he's not long for this world.
He looks like he's sickly. And it's not
compelling at all.
It's not interesting to watch.
And it's like it does a sort of the exact opposite of what I like in animal animation, where it's like I've said in previous episodes, that like I want to feel as if the animators are respectful of these animals, you know, that like they really watched them hard and figured out how they emote, how their body language works and what they do when they're afraid and when they're happy, and when like these are like, there are like so many subtleties of expression in you know, animal body language that can be stylized into something interesting and turned you know, into something legible for the human eye. And that's what hand-drawn animation is really good at. But like it seems like there's plenty of opportunity to do that in this sort of quote live action thing too. It's just that they're like beholden to the structure of this story that was made for hand-drawn animation, you know? And that fucks it up because it's weird to watch these cats singing and it's weird to have all these songs that and like, you know, character beats and plot beats that you associate with some kind of stylization just like laid out for you in this sort of catalog. You know, like that's what this feels like a cataloging exercise. It doesn't feel like they're rendering these creatures with love. It feels like it's, you know what it is? It's very anything that exists without my knowledge exists without my consent type stuff. Have you read Blood Meridian?
I have not read Blood Meridian. I probably should.
It's great. Well, there's
it seems unpleasant.
It's extremely unpleasant. The big bad of that book is this guy called the Judge, who's this like sort of stand-in for, you know, basically like American colonial expansion. And he's constantly like, he's a scientist. He's a very, very intelligent guy. And he's constantly like, you know, looking at rocks and looking at creatures and like sketching them and writing stuff down in his little book and whatever. And the protagonist of the book, there's whatever, asks him why he's doing that. And he says, well, because anything that exists without my knowledge exists without my consent. And it's not like this is not like a loving engagement with the world around you. This is a matter of like, let's make sure we get every detail so that we know, you know. Yeah. It's like an exercise in dominance, and it's gross.
Yeah. I sent you, I remember when this movie came out, I went to see it in theaters because I was such a fan of the original. I was deeply disappointed. In a big part because of how these animals were designed. I remember there was a thing that went kind of viralish.
Oh yeah.
Of a fan, and I put it in the chat for you, and I'll put it in the show notes if I remember. Of a fan who kind of like went in and kind of redid the live action designs to make them less live action and more animated, but like still kind of 3D. And I think there's something to that because these images are a bit more interesting.
Well, and I think
make me less uncomfortable.
This is a little bit more, not entirely, because Mufasa looks like dog shit also, but
yeah,
like,
Mufasa looks really bad.
You can tell that they took the note of like, these animals are not emoting in a way that's legible to anybody, you know?
Yeah.
And so they like contorted their faces into these really unnatural positions. It really sucks. But it also seems like the kind of thing that they're trying to do with Moana. Or I sent you, we were texting the other day about because the Moana trailers are coming out and they look awful. That looks pretty awful. Bad. And so, but I think that's the risk in doing something like this, you know, that like, if this is just what it's going to look like, then what's the fucking point of remaking this, you know?
Yeah. I would like to propose a separate solution.
Uh-huh.
Are you ready? Are you ready for this? I think that the Lion King stage musical is hands down the best thing that Disney has ever produced.
Wow. It's really good.
I think it is the most like beautiful and outstanding and incredible piece of art of that company's entire like 80-year history. And I think that the live action Lion King should have been human beings in costumes and puppets. And I think if that had been done well, it would have been 100 times more interesting than what we got.
I think it would have been more interesting. I don't think that it would have been very popular. I don't think people would have got it, you know.
I think they would be wrong.
I think here's my solution. I want to go the complete opposite direction. Keep the live action bullshit, whatever, make it as realistic as you want, but take the songs out and take most, if not all, of the dialogue out, and just make
it a National Geographic fake documentary.
If that's the aesthetic vibe you're going for, like that. I think that like what we're both getting at here is that the aesthetics have to match the story. We've talked about this before. Yeah. Aesthetics are fucking important. They're not just window dressing. You know, like the movies that we've been talking about are animated and great. Because they're animated, like that is the proper medium for the story that they're trying to tell, you know? And like, I think that you can make any choice that you want, but make a choice, make an aesthetic choice. Like, this is not that. This is another thing that Avatar introduced to the world is like movies as proof of technological concept. You know, it's like the point is not to make a movie the way you envision it. The point is to like beat the audience over the head with like, well, just imagine how great some other movie's gonna look when we make it this way, you know?
Yeah.
The VFX director, I read an interview with him, and oh man, so many people are just like gaslighting themselves to hell with this movie. He said, the point, Legato argued, is to be true to the artist's idea of creating a movie that looks like a film but could never be shot in real life. And his hope is that when audiences watch the new Lion King, they don't see visual effects, similar to how most people don't watch The Godfather and think great sets, great costume, interesting light. Instead, you just watch the film. You don't really pick apart any one of the disciplines. You just enjoy it. He added, my viewpoint is not a visual effect anymore if it's just movie making. No, dude. Sorry. Like that's not what's happening here. Sorry, you deluded yourself.
I think we're both of the type of person who like, and I've been thinking about this a lot because I really like Denis Villeneuve. I think he's a really fantastic director, and he uses a lot of CGI in his movies. He uses, Blade Runner 2049. I think that's the one. Obviously the Dunes, but I think it's like, I think the big difference, and I could be totally wrong, I have not looked at a lot of behind the scenes stuff, is like he uses it as an addition, right? Like I think he's shooting mostly on real sets, and when the actors are lit, they're by real lights,
right?
And everything else, and then it's more expensive, but it's built off of that. And I hit the mic a little bit, sorry. And like that's partially why it looks so good compared to like these Disney movies that we've been watching, where it's like universally the effects are like, I'm like, ooh, something's wrong. This is not working. It's tingling the part of my brain that's like, there's a snake here.
It's also like there's it's very, very deep focus, but not in like an intentional way. Like I shouldn't be able to notice every single blade of grass. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I did feel really shiny.
Yeah.
It felt way too shiny.
It's like everything is laminated.
Yeah. You know what wouldn't have felt shiny? If they put humans in masks and costumes. And I just like, I've been thinking about this for so long. Like, if you have time right now, dear listener, go listen to the Broadway version of these songs.
It's such a good show.
Like, tell me that it's not like they made it more African. they made the music more African in the Broadway show, and like, oh my,
well, and also
God.
like, and this
Does it
the
work?
the casting for this movie was like kind of core to its marketing strategy.
Yeah,
Like it's a good, it's not a bad idea certainly to make the cast predominantly black, but
yeah. Well, it is based in Africa, and that's where they're from.
I mean, most of them are from America. There are very few.
I don't know, Mariana. They're black people, and this is the mid 2000s, and I'm a corporate casting director.
I mean,
so.
it's like, you know, kind of to your point, it would be egregious to have a stage version of Lion King with, you know, like clearly human actors wearing masks and not have the entire cast be African or African American, not have the entire cast be black. You know, that matters. Man, I got a good critic quote about that. Yeah, here we go. IndieWire said, Scar used to be a Shakespearean villain brimming with catty rage and closeted frustration. Now he's just a lion who sounds like Chiwetel Ejiofor. Simba used to be a sleek upstart whose regal heritage was tempered by youthful insecurity. Now he's just a lion who sounds like Donald Glover.
Yeah.
Like,
it robs. I think going that photorealistic route just robs so much artistry.
And
it's just,
it's not
bad.
a good
It's
idea
bad.
to stunt cast with marketing in mind, you know?
Yeah. It would be better if we could like see glimpses of their face behind the masks. I feel like I'm harping on this. It's really like, it's one of the first shows I've ever seen, and it has been stuck in my mind as like the preeminent stage musical of all time. It's so like,
My parents took me to see it in Tulsa
so
when I was a kid, because that's the nearest city that would.
I bet even in Tulsa it was amazing.
It's incredible. It's amazing.
That's how good this musical is that even the touring version was fantastic. Do you know how rare that is? No offense to touring actors, like, you're good job, but like, oh my God.
And
it would be so much cheaper.
Yeah, true. You want to hear a really horrifying quote?
Yes.
From virtual production supervisor Ben Grossman. That's not a job that should exist. It's from that same article with the VFX supervisor. Ultimately, Grossman suggested that this could lead to a situation where filmmaking is less about traditional filmmaking or storytelling and more about, quote, world building. Quote, you create a world where characters have personalities and they have motivations to do different things. And then essentially you can throw them all out there like a simulation, and you can put real people in there and see what happens.
That's a video game.
Yeah.
That exists already. That's a video game.
Yes.
That's called Baldur's Gate 3. It's really
like,
good. It's a different art form.
It is a different art form. Like, that's a disgusting thing for a filmmaker to say. Genuinely. You know what I mean?
I think so here's something that I do know for a fact. There's like, it's not a ton. There is a bit of crossover in the people who get employed in like the post VFX stuff in films and video game developers. So I definitely understand, like, they're like, this should be the same thing. And it's, you know, and it's like, yeah, as video game stories get better and better, and as film uses more and more, like, you know, every studio is using Unreal Engine 5 right now for their post. And it's like, I get that thinking. And it is just really like, why? Like, sometimes I don't want to do, sometimes I want, like, one of the only reason I engage in art consumption is to see, like, other, like, I want to hear or listen to or read or watch talented people doing something cool. And something like this is just, there's just too many constraints. Like, I'm sure all these VFX people are very talented, but they have this like really stupid constraint of like, make them move and look like real animals.
I think that's part of the problem here, that I think that like a lot of these guys cannot understand that storytelling is not purely about self-insert, that like people, that like we've got this idea that like and I think this is like kind of a symptom of the whole movies are entertainment. They're treat them like entertainment. They're
Content.
It's escapism. Come on, you just want to escape from your life for a while, and that attitude I think breeds a lot of people in the film industry who think that people go to the movies because they want to imagine themselves as the hero, and that's not true. And I think that,
or they always want to feel a positive emotion unless they're watching a horror movie.
And I think this is a lot of the reason why I texted you to ask if you'd seen that Jenny Nicholson's Star Wars Hotel video a few days ago. And I think that that's a large part of the reason shit like Star Wars Hotel happens, because these, like, we're dealing with a generation of movie producers and executives and, like, you know, people who are supposed to be in charge of our culture industry who just like don't understand that storytelling is a skill and like a craft that you have to hone, and it doesn't just happen. You can't just like,
well, hold on, because I heard that robots can do it now and that they're really good, actually.
Like, you can't just set up a location, put some character actors in there, let the guests go in, and expect them all to have some kind of hero's journey experience, because that is a matter of screenwriting and craft. You know, it doesn't just occur on its own. It's bonkers that's something we have to remind people. You know,
it's rough. I think we've said this a couple times, but like, this is what happens when you get decision makers who are trained outside of the industry that they're making the decisions in.
Absolutely.
Right. Because if you know, and I think it's not to get into this whole discussion, I think it's a symptom of this sort of like, I forget the word for it. It's like when you have a piece of paper that tells people that you can do this thing. What's that called? Criteria?
License?
Whatever. It's just this sort of idea that has pervaded like American professional jobs in the last 20 or 30 years of like, well, you need to prove that you can do this, and the way you do this is by going to college, and it's not by doing the job, right? It's like, there's so few, for instance, journalists who did not go to college. And there's so few entertainment workers now who did not go to college. And all these kind of like elite jobs have been closed off to people who didn't go to school. And suddenly, like, going to school becomes the criteria you need, and not actually like working, not actually like, you know, hitting the beat or whatever, and not actually like working on set and apprenticing and all this stuff. And, you know, I think one of the reasons that, like, you know, I hate the tech industry as much as the next guy, but I think one of the reasons that they have been consistently so successful is, like, for a lot of the top players, like, college is not a requirement, you know? And I think, like, I went to college. I loved going to college. Going to college to get a piece of paper that says you can do this job should not be the point of school.
In fact, I think I almost think I kind of think we should set up society in such a way that college is not a practical necessity, but instead is a civic necessity. You know what I mean? That like you don't get the piece of paper that qualifies you for a job or whatever. You just like you have to go to college and figure out who you are, because that's how we treat college regardless. We just slap a fucking $250,000 price tag on it. You know?
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of that, because there's people who get into this decision-making path who go the assistant route. And by the time that they're like VP, they've associate produced one movie, and they're like, okay, well, my whole life revolves around spreadsheets and deliverables. So like, that's what I need to optimize for. Whereas, like, you know, I don't like adore all of James Gunn's movies, but I believe very strongly that as long as he's in charge of DC, they're going to be making good stuff because he's a filmmaker.
Right. He's an artist.
He wants, like, he doesn't need his stuff to be like great, but he needs it to be good. A place, you know, DC or Disney right now doesn't have that need. They don't need it to be good. They need it to make money. Yeah. And the way it makes money, according to, you know, their analysts who have never been on film sets, and according to their consultants who have never been on film sets, is like IP and nostalgia mining. Well,
I mean, this is a total affirmation of that idea. There was no set at all, and this movie made a fucking $1.5 billion.
Yeah. It made $1.5 billion.
Yeah, more.
That's so much money.
$1.6 billion.
Yeah.
$275 million in its first weekend domestic.
It made 1.6 billion. How big was the budget?
250 million.
250 million. That's only like 6.5 times its budget. That's much worse than the original Lion King. That's 3 times as bad as the original Lion King. That's
a better way to look at it. Huh?
Worse. That's 3 times worse in terms of return on investment as the original Lion King. That's pretty embarrassing for Disney, honestly.
This industry has become so unbelievably wasteful, you know?
Yeah.
For just the optics of profit. It's, oh my God. It sucks.
Yeah. Anything else?
Well, I guess I should talk a little bit about the sort of surroundings of this movie. Like, like I said, when the first teaser trailer came out, people were like, oh, I don't, because also Dumbo had just come out and Dumbo fucking sucked. And that kind of like, you know, put a little tarnish on everybody's enthusiasm for these live action remakes, because everybody loved the Jungle Book so much, and like Beauty and the Beast did super well for other stupid reasons. And but finally Dumbo came out and people were like, oh no, there's no laundering this one. That was just like a bad movie, huh? And so when the teaser trailer came out and it was just Circle of Life, there was some concern that it might just be a shot-for-shot remake. So much of a concern that the president of production at Disney had to come out and be like, no, there's going to be new shots in there. But he, like, even, I mean, you know, he's an executive. He said, The Lion King is a revered and beloved movie, so you'd better revere and love those parts that the audience wants. But there are things in the movie that are going to be new. And it is a new form of filmmaking. Historical definitions don't work. It uses some techniques that would traditionally be called animation and other techniques that would traditionally be called live action. It's an evolution of the technology John used in Jungle Book. So that was the selling point. That how are they going to make this look real? That's it. It's literally it. So it comes out, makes $270 million on its first weekend, $500 million internationally its first 10 days. Critics are pretty mixed. But they're more positive than I think they should be. You know, the critic at RogerEbert.com, whose name I forgot to write down, sorry, said that this movie uses the motif of light more subtly than the original because it's striving to look real rather than stylized. And the result is a great example of how CGI animation can achieve a different kind of poetic effect that's different from the kind that old-fashioned cell animators might attempt, which I think is true sometimes, which just makes me hate this movie more, because like the shots where things genuinely look very good and really beautiful, just tell me that there's like artists working in this industry that have to work on this movie instead of something else that might make good use of that stuff. You know, I think that the scene where Simba sees Mufasa in the sky.
Matt Zoller Zeitz.
Okay, thank you. I think he's the critic I pulled a Mufasa quote about, or from too. But like, I think that's gorgeous. You know, my favorite part in this movie is everything Rafiki does. I think Rafiki is good.
Rafiki survived the
He did, yeah,
because he is a primate and it is very easy to animate primates to act like people.
And like the way that they animate that like baobab tree he lives in is really beautiful, you know? Like they are doing interesting things with light and texture. And it fucking sucks that it has to be in this.
I liked how Rafiki's like uses bugs to draw Simba's face.
Uh-huh.
That's a cool change.
Yeah. And Elton John was also not impressed. He said the soundtrack hasn't had nearly the same impact in the charts that it had 25 years ago. Very Elton John thing to worry about when it was the best-selling album of the year. The new soundtrack fell out of the charts so quickly, despite the massive box office success. I wish I'd been invited to the party more, but the creative vision for the film and its music was different this time around, and I wasn't really welcomed or treated with the same level of respect. That makes me extremely sad. I'm so happy the right spirit for the music lives on with the Lion King stage musical. Kind of a bummer.
Which is, again, the best thing that Disney has ever made in its entire history.
It is very good. If you
get
a chance to see it.
Fucking good.
Yeah. It's just so artful in every single possible direction.
God. It's gorgeous. It's so good.
Yeah. It's really amazing to me how short this movie feels, and that's not a compliment. Like how thin it feels compared to the original, considering it's like half an hour longer. You know?
Yeah. The Timon Pumbaa thing, I really like Seth Rogen.
Yeah, I do too.
I like Billy Eichner in some things. I don't think they worked well together. And I felt
they have
like
weird vocal chemistry. It's not at all like
a lot of I feel like a lot of their like the way they they cast Nathan Lane, and I always feel bad. I always forget Pumbaa's name. Ernie Sabella. I'm pretty sure that they were on a show together on Broadway when they were cast in these roles. They knew how to play off each other really well. And so like, as a lot of good like comic reliefs in these Disney movies, like they had some improv that like made it into the final cut because they worked together really well and they were very funny. Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen have voices that kind of sound like Ernie Sabella and Nathan Lane. To my knowledge, like they haven't really worked together ever before. And you could hear like, I'm sure I feel like they recorded their lines together, which is the right move. But you can hear the director be like, now do some improv takes. Yeah. And they used them and they're not good. And it's just like, it's not great. Like one thing that really pissed me off is like, they kept breaking the fourth wall.
Oh my God, I fucking hate that
I
shit.
don't know why they did that. Like this new Hakuna Matata, there's so many jokes in it that only work if you've seen the original Hakuna Matata. And it's not good. It just kind of ruins it's the way that I've talked about why the original one was so effective to me as a kid and even now is like how serious it is even in the comedic parts. And this live action movie is like, it was a major blockbuster right in the middle of Marvel dominance. It has that kind of like, I'm going to call it Neo Joss Whedon style, like disregard for any sort of plot seriousness. And it really, really negatively affects the movie. Cause I'm like, it's like you're trying to get me to believe that these very inexpressive animals, I should care about them. And now you're making fun of the movie that it's in. And you're referencing a much better movie that I remember very well. And
it's like, it's just such a huge bummer to me how like technology as it's applied to movies now has turned constraint of creativity into a virtue, you know, that like you have to rise to the challenge of making everything look so photorealistic that people can't tell the difference. That's the goal. I do not think they succeeded in that, first of all. But also, who gives a shit? Why is that a goal at all? That has nothing to do with storytelling, you know?
I remember like when, I don't remember, I wasn't alive, but in, you know, as I studied history in college, and not a ton of art history, but I studied media history. And one of the things that happened before the camera existed was painters were in an arms race to make the most realistic looking painting they could. And then the French guy invented the daguerreotype, and then a cool, sexy American invented the photograph. And then the painters couldn't compete with the photograph. And they were like, fuck, what do we do now? And then from that came like, I could have my timeline crazy wrong, but from that came, I think my timeline's a little wrong, but from that came like Cubism, and came, you know, like Impressionism, I think started earlier, but once there was a technology that could capture just reality, the artists were like, fuck that. And then they went really hard into so much more interesting art.
The thing about communication technology is that it's always been sort of bankrolled by some kind of practical purpose, usually related to defense. I mean, that's why we have the internet. Like a lot of the sort of technological advancements, like photography.
I was totally right. Impressionism did spring up.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Daguerreotype. I'm so smart.
Like photography, like film, like radio, like these are the information that those were built to convey are of a very practical purpose. And then they're sort of, you know, retconned is maybe not the right word. Like they're then sort of co-opted into a new artistic medium. You know, that's just sort of the pattern of communication technology development. And we're in another sort of lull where the technological aspect, or maybe it's maybe more that what's happening now is sort of the logical conclusion that of that attitude that we've been ignoring for the past like 80 years of film, of film development, that like there was a really, really comfortable amount of time where, once it became clear that film has its own language, its own grammar, and it's not just for recording theatrical performances, that this is not the same thing as a stage, actually, then the sort of passive assumption is that, well, we've added color, we've added sound, we have to, the realism is the point, immersion is the point. Yeah. And like, we need to keep adding all of these bells and whistles until presumably we'll get to a point where people literally can't tell the difference between their waking life and their dreaming life that they see on screen. And like what we're experiencing right now is, I think, just the like hard brick wall of where that goes, Yeah. It doesn't matter how realistic your shit looks if the aesthetic isn't matching your story, if there is no story to begin with, if that like the reason people go to the movies is because film does have a grammar, that it does have rules. There is a craft here and a storytelling skill that is specific to this medium. It is not simply a matter of escapism. It is not simply a matter of just like, wishing your life could be different. That's not what movies are for.
Right.
So, yeah. I hate this movie. It's not good.
I'm not a fan.
No.
I'm not a fan. So people should not watch
this movie.
Live action The Lion
Is there anything you liked about it?
I
have two. I have two things I liked about it, other than Rafiki.
No.
Okay. What
were the two things that you liked about it?
In Hakuna Matata, when they do the little Pumbaa flashback for when he was a young warthog, Baby Pumbaa is so cute.
Very
so cute.
Okay, I like that part.
And then I also like that. This is so stupid, but I like that one of Timon and Pumbaa's like bug eating friends in the forest is an aardwolf. That's like a super niche animal. And I'm sure somebody was very proud, on the production team to discover this creature. They're really cool. They're these like bizarre canine. It is a canine. It's like a little fox that only eats bugs. Like they don't.
It is a hyenid.
It's not a canine? Oh, okay.
It's not a canine.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
It is a hyena. It's related to the hyena.
Okay. And hyenas are more related to cats than dogs. Hyenas are weird.
Well, hyenas are their own thing.
They're
their own family.
Yes, but more related to cats than dogs, I said. They're not felines, but
because the order is carnivores. Mm-hmm. No, yeah, the order is carnivores. The superfamily is the Herpetoidea. They are most related to, those don't exist. They are most related to the mongoose and the weasel.
Aardwolves are really
and like stoats,
really strange creatures. And they only eat bugs, and they will refuse meat if you offer it to them. I think that's really strange and funny, and I like that they included it in the movie.
That's really
and that's cute. The only thing that I like about this movie. I do like that Timon and Pumbaa have friends. They don't do anything; they're just embellishments, but it's cute.
I don't know if I liked that. I found it distracting to the point.
It's certainly not necessary. Yeah.
Unnecessary characters.
Definitely.
It's just one of the things that I'm like consistently in awe of is like how economical these animated movies are. And then they just like fucking bloat it for no reason in the live action. And it's like, it's perfect. Don't change it. So what should they watch instead of live action?
I haven't seen any new movies recently.
That's good because I have
Okay,
to.
Great.
So I'm going to recommend I have a real recommendation, and then I have an art snob, a film snob recommendation. My real recommendation is a movie that came out this year called Sorry Baby. It is really good.
Okay.
I liked it very much. And then my film snob, I'm just double checking the name of it. My film snob recommendation.
So one of those really long poetic names.
Yeah, I posted about it in the Discord the other day. It's the Romanian film Do Not Expect Too Much from the End of the World. It's weird. It's a weird movie, and it's one of those movies I was in Brooklyn 2 years ago, and my wonderful girlfriend and I went to what we thought was an improv show. And we get there, and there's this guy doing a really bad, who's that? Lenny Bruce impression, and just like embarrassingly terrible. And the crowd was loving it, and we were like, "What the fuck is going on?" And I hated it. And then after like 10 minutes, I was like, "He's a clown, and his character is Lenny Bruce, but bad." And it was a clown show.
I love that.
And I was
We don't have enough clown shows in America. It's a huge problem with us.
Don't. It's called Stumptown. It's fantastic. But after 10, 15 minutes, I started to get it. And I was like, this is one of the best shows I've ever been to. It was hilarious. This movie is very much like that, where for the first half hour, I was like, I don't understand the joke that is being played on me. And then after I let go of that, I was like, this is a great film.
Cool.
It's really
I'll check
good.
it out. That does sound good.
Yeah. It's great. I highly recommend putting your phone somewhere you cannot grab it, because there are boring parts where you will want to grab it, and that is part of the experience. Yeah.
Good.
Anything else?
No, I'm just mentally gearing up to talk about Mufasa here. And
it's about Mufasa. If you want to hear a little supplementary discussion on the prequel to the live action Lion King,
we always loosen up in the Patreon exclusive. We're gonna clown hard on this movie. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, head over to Patreon and it's an exclusive episode just for our lovely people whom I thanked earlier. Anything else?
No, I guess not.
No?
Do that outro if you please.
I forgot I had an outro.
Every single episode you forget there's an outro.
I'm so bad. Thank you, listeners. Thank you so much for listening to episode 14 of Once More with Feeling, a podcast about great original movies and their often not so great remakes. I hate doing the spiel, but we want to keep doing this, and to keep doing this, we need sponsorships and we need patrons. So if you like this episode and you're still listening, hit that little like button. Give us a rating, even if it's not 5 stars. I'll accept a 4.
Oh, you can insult us if you want. I don't give a shit.
If it's a
Just
2,
engage.
I will kill myself.
I will pull Gus back from the cliff and convince him that it's a good thing when people troll.
Comments, like things, share it in your group chat, send it to that Republican that you hate.
Send it to anybody who's likely to give us a rating.
Yeah. What else? Oh, if you want to support us, as I said earlier, we have a Patreon. Check it out. Once More with Feeling. If you want to follow us on social media. No if, do it. With Feeling.
It's a call to action. It's not a request to action.
Yeah. It's a fucking do it, bitch, to action. With Feeling Pod on Instagram and TikTok, and I told our social media person, aka my sister, to start doing YouTube shorts.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. If you want to send us an email, withfeelingpod@gmail.com. I think that's it.
I think so.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Music.
That may be the most awkward silence that's ever occurred on this podcast.
I think there's been worse. I think you'll hear when you go back. I'm just gonna keep it.